Yeah, when that goes, Steve, when that goes, here we go. All right, so wait until that's gone and then, okay.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's council meeting. Held here at 315 Westfield Ave, Clark, New Jersey, 07066, September 20th, 2021, 7:30. A roll call, please.
Councilwoman Albanese.
Here.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Here.
Councilman Minity is absent. Councilman O'Connor.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Toll.
Here.
Council President Hund.
Here. Would you please stand for a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, as adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by mailing the annual schedule of meetings to the Star-Ledger, Union County Local Source, and Tappan to Clark, by posting such annual meeting schedule on the bulletin board in Town Hall reserved for such announcements, the official website of the Township, and the proper filing of said notice. Formal action may be taken at this meeting.
Thank you. We'll move to communications from the mayor and reports of the township officers. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Let's start off with the disaster part of the report, and that was our hurricane or tropical storm, or whatever you want to call it, Ida, which devastated New Jersey, and a big part of New Jersey, I should say. And of course, our community saw about somewhere around 9 inches or more of rain. That night, it was quite a scene. Many roads were flooded. Some roads that never flooded before even flooded. And it took a very valiant effort from our Clark Volunteer Fire Department, Clark Police Department, and Clark First Aid Squad that day. They were working. They were wading in water, up to their chest to try to get people out of cars. Many vehicles were left in the middle of the streets, evacuating residents. I had opened up Brewer Municipal, the recreation side, to about 40 people who needed to find shelter when they got out of their homes and were out of their cars. It was quite a scene. I lived through, Hurricane Floyd and Irene, and they were one thing. I think this was worse. And of course, Superstorm Sandy. The only thing I could say positive about the night, if you want to say there's anything positive, is that we didn't have any high winds, down trees, down power lines. So our DPW stood home and they got a restful night's sleep, but they sure started earning it the next day. We immediately started to begin to clean the streets up in town, and our DPW has been out there, and I think they did a very great job in getting our township picked up. As of today, which is almost 2 weeks after the storm, we're making our last loop around. I think it's fair to say by now you should have everything out to the curb. We used the municipal pool to dump, not in the pool, but the parking lot, the driveway, to take the stuff off the street. Scott McCabe was calling me sometimes at 10 o'clock in the morning saying they shut the dumps down already because they had too much volume at the dump site in Plainfield. We've contracted with Elizabeth Waste Management to go down there. So we're in really good shape in town. We did lose a number of vehicles. We lost lost, it's in repair, hopefully. The assessors are looking at it, a DPW dump truck. We lost a fire truck. we lost 2 police vehicles in the flood. And not from them haphazardly operating them. 2 were actually at the repair shop being fixed when the repair place flooded out. So we're going through insurance and seeing where that's going to lead us. We'll find out. I mean, again, everybody is inundated, so things are moving a little slow on that news. As soon as I find out, I'll relay it to you, council. Again, to Scott and the DPW, keep up the good work, guys. It was just a devastating evening, to say the least. It was just unbearable. And, you know, even the drive around and survey the town was impossible because, like I said, roads that I've been out in many storms that you were able to get up and down. You were lucky to get up and down at most points. So thank you again to all, fire, police, first aid, and of course DPW in the aftermath of the storm. I'd like to once again...
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. OEM as well, please.
Yes, OEM. I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't mean that. OEM, Mike Neonortis and his gang did a tremendous job with that too. And God forgive me for leaving those guys out. They did a great job that night and continue to work, even as far as the after the storm meeting and follow up. It's all going good. I'll tell you what, you know, the one thing that amazed me was when I was mayor-elect, right before I got sworn in, we had 20 inches of snow, and I was sitting in at the emergency management meetings then. And I got to tell you, like, being on council, I wasn't privy to those meetings, and sitting there in that room that afternoon, I said, wow, we're in good shape. These guys really know what they're doing. And it's really continued over the 20 years. And I say this with all humbleness, we don't really even meet as much as we used to because the experience is so much there that we're cell phone calling each other and back and forth, and like everybody knows their role, everybody knows what to do, and it really is a great thing to work with these people in time of crisis. I do want to give the community just a wonderful thank you for the clothing drive we had at Brewer with our good friends at Clark Unico. I got to tell you, folks, you know, growing up in this town my whole life and knowing many people as I think I can know, it's just amazing to see the love that this town turns out with in a time of need for one another. And, you know, I heard about a lady on Valley Road. I went down to visit her and her family, and she was telling me a neighbor who she knew a little bit, but not really that much, came over after the flood and said, you guys handy, you know what you're doing here? And they're like, no. He's like, okay, I'll be over. Came over and started cutting out sheetrock and helping them, and they became very friendly now. And she was, you know, raving to me about the neighbors and seeing people come out with clothes and gift cards and school supplies and everything you can imagine. I just got to say, Clark, you're one heck of a community, and there's nothing prouder for me to lead this community and work with all the wonderful people in this town. God bless you all, and God bless your generosity and your hearts. It's just beautiful to see. Ribbon cutting we had here on Saturday went very well. I want to thank everyone for attending and giving our bon voyage to our new complex here. I think everyone who saw it really was impressed with it, and I know I certainly am. It's a beautiful facility, and it's going to do a great job for our community. I just want to touch upon, I know Councilman Smith will go into the meat of this, so I'll just lay off of it, but you know, it's a great weekend here in Clark. Last year with COVID, everything was shot down, but we got the Columbus Day Unico Festival coming up on October 6th, Bill, and I'll leave it there for you, but it's going to be a great weekend, so come out and say hello to everyone. And that concludes my report for this evening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilwoman Albanese?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to give a few updates regarding the library. First, I want to mention that we're back to our fall, winter hours, and the library is open on Sundays from 1 to 5. So I know a lot of people like to take advantage of the quiet study areas and drop off, pick up materials, etc. Also, senior movies. Since the pandemic, we have not had the senior movie program. Well, it's really not for seniors, it's for anyone that wants to go and see new DVD releases at the library. And that program is funded by the Friends of the Library. They purchase the licenses for that program, and we're very appreciative of that, and so are the attendees. They always mention that. So I want to put a plug in for them. They're having their vendor fundraiser. It's a craft fair on October 2nd, and that will be outdoors from 9 to 3. And all the money that they raise goes directly to the library for materials and supplies and programming, extra programming that's conducted by the library. And that leads me to another point. If you purchase anything from Amazon, there's a way on your Amazon account to dedicate funds to a charity. It's called Amazon Smile, and usually it's in the left corner. I'll make sure there's something on the library website that explains how to get onto it. And not everything you buy donates a penny or two to the library, but many items will be eligible for donation to the library. So you just need to designate the charity, Clark Public Library, and monies will go to the library. For all the upcoming programs, check out the library's website. As you know, they have computers, iPads, various, other equipment that can be rented out at the library. And I would say that sums it up. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman Albanese. Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Just to sum up what the mayor was saying about the storm cleanup, as far as an update, DPW has removed over 2,500 yards of debris curbside and over 3 tons of metal items. If you still have items to be picked up, we don't have a drop-off point, but DPW will pick those items up. So just email dpw@hourclock.com. Our supervisor, Scott McCabe, is here, did an outstanding job, and I want to acknowledge his presence. Bulky and appliance pickup appointments are required. Email dpw@hourclock.com to schedule all the appointments. Bulky pickup, household items, only, please. All small items must be bagged. No electronics, mattresses, box springs, constructions, toilet, metal, paint, or chemicals will be accepted. Metal and appliance pickup, they are washers, dryers, refrigerators, grills, bed frames. No propane tanks, anything metal. Appointments are required for all pickups, and again, please contact email dpw@hourclock.com to schedule the week prior to your pickups. Grass pickups, the last day for grass pickup will be October 12th, 2021. Please place grass in biodegradable bags. Final branch pickup for 2021 will start September 27th. Please make a note of that. You could start putting out your branches this week. But that's our target date, or our target time to complete that. Mulch is still available. Please call or email dpw@hourclock.com to schedule a delivery, and they will be delivered on Fridays. Electronic drop-off is September 25th. That's on a Saturday. That's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. A last electronic drop-off for 2021 will be October 30th. Please make note of that. Okay, recycling should be placed curbside Friday nights for your Saturday morning pickup, and they will start at 5:30 a.m. on Saturday. And leaf season will start late October. Thank you. That's the extent of my report.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Councilman O'Connor.
Thank you. From the Finance Committee, the Township continues to be able to meet its current obligations, so thanks to Jim Ulrich and his team. From the Clark Volunteer Emergency Squad, for the month of August, they had 118 total calls, of which 12 were mutual aid. And as a liaison to the Office of Emergency Management, I want to say thank you for all the hard work that they did. I had an opportunity to see them firsthand when they came to my friend's house to drop off a pump to pump 6 feet out of my friend's mom's basement. They're there when you need when you need them, and I just want to again say special thanks to them for all their hard work, as well as DPW and all the rest of the crews that were out there working hard. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Council President Hund. The fall recreation registration is now underway and in full swing. If you're interested in registering for any classes, please do so ASAP. If there's a lack of registrants, classes do risk getting canceled. The brochures were not mailed this year, so there's hard copies at the Recreation Office, and it's available on our website at www.ourclark.com. If you have any questions, you could always reach Ralph at rbernardo@ourclark.com, or his phone number is 732-428-8400. The Clark Community Pool had a successful season, and we just want to thank the management and all the staff for having a safe season for our members. And lastly, the Clark Unico will be holding their Italian-American Festival Columbus Day weekend, which is October 7th through the 10th. We are looking for volunteers, so if you are interested, please contact Ralph Bernardo in the Recreation Office. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Councilman Toll.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the Environmental Commission, it's environmental resi cleanup time again on Saturday, October the 16th, 2021. If you're not doing all the other mini activities in town, if you have a few minutes, come on over to in front of the Brewer Municipal Building with the circular driveway. The members will be getting together, and they're going to go out into different parts of the reservoir, our own resi, and they're going to go and basically pick up plastics, things that get caught up in the drains and get washed out into our reservoir. If you're available, please come out. It goes from 8 to 12. Refreshment and pizza will be served at the 12 o'clock hour when all the kids get off the resi. So we ask you to come out. If any questions, go to Mark Hayden at the Municipal Building. Mark has a website there and an email, and you can then, or the clerk's office, reach out and just say, hey, I'm available. What other information you might need from that? So again, the Reservoir Committee, the Environmental Commission is going out and doing an annual reservoir cleanup. We ask you to come out and support Mother Nature. Piggyback and follow up a couple things on the flood that we had. It was a devastating flood. I just got off the phone before coming to my meeting tonight, our meeting tonight. One of our residents still has no power. His entire basement was flooded to 8 feet. And his family asked me to relay these messages of thanks to the Public Works Department for picking up all the debris the next day and the day after. And he also wanted to say to the Clark Volunteer Fire Department for coming in and pumping out 8 feet of water in his basement. 8 feet in the basement, 6 feet in the first floor. TV, everything destroyed, gone. His entire electrical grid is gone. He's asked for assistance, and again, Ralph Bernardo and Clark Unico, I went to that event, worked with the mayor, getting supplies to need, and we have some needy people. And Ralph, I want to say thank you directly to you for all your help. I brought over some gift cards to the family on Mildred Terrace. I couldn't believe Mildred Terrace could get so bad, but for over the years, there's an old buried creek there that basically attracts water, and when it rains heavily, it floods at the bottom of the hill. And those 4 houses at the bottom of Mildred Terrace were deeply impacted. But again, Public Works, Fire Department were there for those residents and got them to at least an acceptable level. Now they're trying to, time after the storm, trying to get back to a sense of normalcy. Again, if anything you can do, go to the health officer and to Ralph Bernardo to, again, bring the needy things. Again, I just want to say thanks to that, and we're going to continue working for our residents. Again, thank you, Mr. President. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. And with Scott McKay being here, our department heads, if they'd like to make a comment, please come forward.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's on. It's on. Got it.
Right.
I'd just like to accept the accolades for the cleanup, but at the same token, it was a lot of my guys, the whole department, came together as a whole, and they constantly worked nonstop to get the town cleaned. I just commend all the guys on the DPW crew that did the extra work and stayed there and handled all the debris and stuff like that to get off the roads in a quick, fashionable meaning of time. Also, with the cleaning up, we also still maintain the township, the grass, the trees, the sewer lines, trash, and stuff like that. But we all are also still coming around to the flooded areas and jetting the stormwater lines. So I know there was a couple of questions on the stormwater lines. We are still coming out and jetting out the areas that were flooded. I forgot to include that in Mr. Mazzarella's report. Apologize for that. But thank you for all your support and confidence in us. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you and your staff. And for my report, the police department report for August, saw a total of 2,098 calls for service. So they were not as busy in August as they will be for next month's report. So I'm sure they received many more calls during the storm. So that concludes my report, and then we shall move on to ordinances, appropriations, and claims, and payment of claims.
Thank you. I have reviewed the bills totaling $216,604.34. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the citizens' hearing on the agenda, I'd like to open up the agenda. Each person addressing the council shall first give his or her name and address to the clerk. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a body and shall not exceed 10 minutes in duration. Thank you very much for that, Councilman O'Connor. I apologize for that. So I opened up the agenda.
Seeing no one come forward, I make a motion to close this portion.
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Albanese, and thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we'll move to resolutions, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first resolution is authorizing the administration to execute an agreement to renew membership in the New Jersey Municipal Self-Insurers Joint Insurance Fund.
Do I have a mover for that?
Yes, I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. A second?
I'll second that, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Any discussions, Mr. Mayor?
That's standard, just renewing our membership.
Okay, thank you, sir. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Hund.
Yes.
Next resolution is appointing Kevin McCludis as a member of the Clark Volunteer Fire Department.
Do I have a motion for that?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. A second?
I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. Any discussions? I think it's pretty standard, Mr. Mayor. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Hund.
Yes.
Number 3 is authorizing the purchase and installation of equipment through state contracts for 2 police utility vehicles in the amount not to exceed $31,098.70.
I'd like to move that.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Toll.
Thank you.
Any discussions, Mr. Mayor?
Any questions or no? Just trying to get an early jump on the 2 vehicles.
On the 2 vehicles that were damaged.
The problem is, it seems like we're ordering in January and not getting them until September, so we kind of need them, and we want to get an early jump on it this year.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Hund.
Yes.
Number 4 is authorizing the business administrator to purchase a Pierce Enforcer fire truck through the Houston-Galveston Area Council Cooperative Purchasing Program.
Do I have a motion for that?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. A second?
I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. Any discussions on that, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, this is a 2-in-1 type of truck. The fire department's been looking for a bucket truck, and we've been in discussion with them about that. When the other fire truck took water on School Street during the flood, it's basically close to 25 years old, and we have a 25-year timetable on it. So we don't know what insurance is going to do, how much the repairs are going to be. We have to pay a portion of those repairs through our deductible. We decided to go out and take a look at this truck, which is a pumper and a ladder. The only difference is it's not the big ladder truck. There's no bucket on it, but it's kind of a 2-in-1 vehicle. And what we're going to do is purchase this for half of what a ladder truck would cost us, brand new. And we're able to find a used ladder truck with Colonia Fire Department for $50,000, which is a very good price for a used ladder truck, and it's in excellent condition. So we're going to be able to fill 2 voids with one shot for about 50% less than we would if we went all the way through on it. And that's the ladder truck we'll use for now and see how that goes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Hund.
Yes. Now we'll move on to consent agenda resolutions. When you're ready, Madam Clerk.
Number 5 is authorizing a refund to the owner of 45 Wendell Place for a canceled plumbing permit in the amount of $75. 6 is authorizing the tax collector to issue a duplicate tax sale certificate for the property located on Lot 7 and Block 59. 7 is authorizing the tax collector to participate in an electronic tax sale. 8 is authorizing and directing the tax collector to charge a fee of $25 for each notice of tax sale sent in conjunction with the 2021 electronic tax sale. 9 is authorizing the chief financial officer to refund overpayment of 2021 taxes in the amount of $4,514.37. And 10 is authorizing the tax collector to make the proper adjustments for 100% property tax exemption of Block 30.06, Lot 2, in accordance with a directive from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs.
Do I have a motion for that?
I'll move that, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. A second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. And a roll call, please.
Councilwoman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Hund.
Yes. Do we have any new business on the calendar?
There is no new business.
No new business, thank you. Now we're coming to the public comments portion of our meeting. I'd like to open the meeting to the public. Each person addressing the council shall first give his or her name and address to the clerk. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a body and shall not exceed 10 minutes in duration.
Delia Collins, 72 Georgia Street, the Venice of Clark. We got very flooded over on Carolina and Georgia on September 1st, and I want to thank the DPW for coming out the days afterwards because we looked like a war zone over there. I just wanted to confirm that how long we have to put, because we have people, myself included, that haven't finished cleaning out our basements and our garages, and I watched your speech on Tappan to Clark or Clark Township, and you said that you would make sure that everyone who had damage.
And we stand up by that, Delia. If it's due to flood damage, we'll come and get it. You got to let us know at DPW, but we're going to ask the citizens to kind of do the best they can to step it up a little bit now. It's almost 20 days after the storm.
Right, but when
And
you have senior
No,
citizens
Ma'am, I understand, I said.
that have no
We're
help.
asking, we're not saying they have to, we're asking. I get it, and it's been 20 days after the storm, so we're just asking because there's other things we need to attend to, and we're trying to get rid of all the debris. And the more debris, we're renting equipment to get rid of that debris because as much as we have roll-off trucks and good-sized trucks, we still are not capable of getting rid of that much tonnage quickly. So we're trying to kill every bird with one stone. So put it out, call us, and let us know. And we're just asking it.
Yeah, no, I have, and they've been very, very nice, and I got emails back and texts back. I won't bring it up, and I'll keep my mouth shut, but I know it was a tremendous storm. But somebody's got to look at the brook behind the railroad tracks, because that's where 2 of the drains from Carolina and Georgia go to, and the railroad even got flooded.
Delia, Scott has been out there. He's looked at the drains immediately as soon as he can get out there. Scott McCabe, DPW superintendent's right here. He was out there. He looked at those drains. At my request, he surveyed the area. I got a complaint from a resident up there. I called the railroad, and the railroad chastised me because they said The people on Georgia Street have been dumping firewood, is he serious? Firewood behind the fence, other debris. It washed up onto the railroad track. He said that is absolutely true. We didn't run trains for 2 or 3 days back there because we were stuck down in Manville. He said, we are going to send a train down to clean up all that stuff, and I guess from the tracks have a claw type of thing to pick it up. But he said, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to be very honest with you. This is the people on Georgia Street. Don't blame us. That's what the railroad told
I'm not
us.
talking behind the fences. I'm talking on the other side of the railroad when the sewers come out.
Delia, I understood what you said. I told you, we
So
sent
you're
Scott.
saying behind the fence.
I'm telling you about, you said stuff even washed up to the railroad track. Why are we being argumentative here? I'm agreeing with you.
Because I brought this up over 2 years ago.
And he was there 2 years ago, and you were incorrect 2 years ago.
Well,
So if we're going to be blunt, let's be blunt. You were incorrect 2 years ago, right or wrong, Scott. We sent Scott there the next day after you complained. We went over there, we checked out those drains, and Scott's right there. When she's done, please get up and give her a report. Maybe she'll understand you better than I.
well, I found my pictures back then, cleaning up from the storm. So I'm not allowed back there, so I don't know what it looks like now, but I don't put anything behind my fence.
So you did. I said, people on Georgia Street, several people.
Right, I understand. I know some of them that do. But I'm just saying, the other side of the railroad tracks that goes through Karnak, goes through Access Self-Storage underground, before it goes underground, there's an area back there that is, and people have been putting stuff there since the 60s. Furniture, cement, and, you know, I don't know. I don't want to bring it up because I can't wait to get the hell out of Clark.
That's what realtors are for.
Thank you very much. Anyone else like to come forward?
Public Works, I'm two-parted tonight. To reply to Delia's answer, I did go back there the following day. It was loaded with firewood, broken fence parts, which in turn clogged the spillway leading to the area that Delia is talking about. The area that she's talking about is probably about 75 by 75 retention basin, which does flow behind Karnak, just everything underground, which then in turn flows into the stream that runs behind Town Hall. It's not a very large area. We did have 11.10 inches of rain. That was our official forecast for Clark in 3.5 hours. There's no sewer system that's going to handle that much water. The street water also flows through the properties onto the railroad tracks, then causing flooding coming up. 2 years ago, the mayor asked me to go out there. I was out there, took pictures of all the firewood stacked on the back of the fences and broken fence. They were asked to remove it. It must not have happened. When the rain came, this heavy rain came, washed everything into the ditch and clogged the main gutter, the main pipe going across the railroad tracks, under the railroad tracks into the bigger ditch. The concrete and stuff that's back there, that is actually on private property. We can't do anything about it. It's a storage area, and they keep it as clean as possible, but we have no control over private property. That is not the stuff that's flowing into the ditch. It's just overwhelmed at that particular date and time.
Council, when I come to these meetings, I don't sit here for my health or beauty. I listen to people. Ms. Collins made a point. I sent Scott back there. Scott is one phone call away from me. Anytime, day or night. When we hear drainage, I remember last time it was the railroad tracks were going to cave in. That was her concern. The very next day we went out there, we did it. He's on top of that. We talk about things every single day. I'm running Public Works. I mean, I'm the mayor, I run every department, but I'm saying now I'm more hands-on with Public Works, and it's a passion of mine. I like working with Scott. We get along. We have a good time. Even when we disagree, we always get along at the end. But we agree, believe me, 99% of the time. His mission is my mission, which is to always keep this town pristine and quick. When people stack stuff behind the property on Georgia Street, I particularly don't care. If the railroad's okay with it, I'm certainly okay with it. All I'm going to say when we have an event like this and stuff gets washed all around, you can't come back and complain about it either. You know, it's not your property. You don't belong stacking stuff on it. But if the railroad's okay with it, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to sit there and tell you not to. It's not me. It's not the way I am. I'm not a heavy-handed guy that way. But when things get washed up on a track, I had a complaint from a citizen up there, not Delia, someone else, and I responded to that complaint immediately, as I try to do. And I called the railroad. Chief Matos had a number. He gave it to me. I called the guy, and the guy jumped right on me. He said, "You're wrong, Mr. Mayor." He said, "No, you're right. There is stuff all over." He goes, "But it's not from us. It's from your citizens." I said, "Okay, I understand, blah, blah, blah." And he explained to me how coming out of Manville, the trains were shut down for about 2 or 3 days. They were going to send a crew down to clean off the tracks for safety first for the trains, then a train type of apparatus with a claw to pick stuff up and take it away, which I think is very nice of them to do, since they didn't put it there. But the drains she's talking about, Scott has checked them, and he checked them right after the flood, and we've checked them 2 years ago when she asked us to check them again, and I think you do it periodically anyway. So we're on top of all that stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Scott, for your comments.
That's good. All right. Part two. Scott McCabe, this time Dr. Robinson Museum. National landmark. We just had our first fall vendors event last Saturday. It was fabulous. The weather was great. We had 45 vendors, but we have 4 events coming up that I'd like to share. We are finally opening up after COVID. We had to stay closed because it's extremely hard to sanitize 328-year-old wood. Can't use alcohol on it or stuff like that, so we stayed closed for safety. But we are opening back up October 16th and 17th. We're doing a World War II presentation for 4 centuries. We have a whole program coming in that is going to reproduce World War II. Not a battle, but they have all kinds of cool equipment and toys that they're bringing to show off, and they play everything in the first person. So we invite the public to come out and attend. It's free to everybody, always. So that's the 16th and 17th, and we'll be open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. On November 6th, we're having our fall winter festival, holiday festival, craft show and vendor show, just like we had last weekend, and we're expecting over 60 vendors. Last year we had 62. We kind of tightened it up a little bit and only went to 60 this year. And November 27th, we're having Pictures with Santa for the children. We usually have Santa, Mrs. Claus, and a few elves running around. And on December 5th, we have what we call Santa Paws, where you can bring your dog into the museum, 1 dog at a time, and have their picture taken with Santa. And there's a $5 fee for that one. Everything else is free to the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Scott. Anyone else need to come forward at all? Okay. With that, I'd like a motion to close this portion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we'll give that to Councilman Mazzarella, and then the second to Councilwoman Albanese. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now we'll move on to the mayor, council, and professional comments. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to inform the community, mark this on your calendar, either to attend or tune in live to TV 36, October 15th, Friday night, at Johnson High School is Patriots Night. We will be honoring the patriots of our great patriotic community at an ALJ football game. Game time is 7 o'clock, and this is brought to you by myself, the Township Council, Superintendent Ed Grande, and the Board of Education. I think it's going to be a night to really remember. It's supposed to be our second annual, but the night before the game last year, the other team got COVID and knocked it out. So hopefully that'll be okay. But October 15th, be there. It's going to be a great night. I think it's going to be something that you'll enjoy watching from the comforts of your family room or out at the game cheering on our high school teams. I'd like to also just follow up on Scott. My wife and I had the privilege of joining Scott over at the Dr. Robinson's Museum Saturday. Not only was it a picture-perfect day to do that, but we were home right after the ribbon cutting here, and my wife saw it on Facebook and said, oh, let's go. And, you know, my head's like a strainer sometimes. I did forget about it when he told me, so we went over and walked the grounds and talked with Scott, and I got to give Scott a lot of credit. It was a nice thing, Scott. And go out and support it. It's, you know, an old house. It's beautiful. You know, I walked around in there with him a little bit. It's just amazing. I mean, you know, to see what they did back in those days. But he's got a lot of events coming up. It's a beautiful facility, and stop out and support Scott and the Doc Robinson House. Very nice. I just want to remind people the first Tuesday of November is Election Day. So if you're going to be out of town and you need a mail-in ballot, do so. Remember to register to vote. If you're just turning of age, get out there and register. If you moved in from another community, it's just a change of address. It's a gubernatorial election. It's a crucial election for our community. I think right now every election's a crucial community when I see what's going on around us in this country. And I've said this before many times. Don't believe what you hear. Research the candidates. Figure out who's telling the truth and who's playing the campaign game, and then make an informed vote. If you make an informed vote, I'm going to say probably 99 of 100 times you're going to pick the right person. Hopefully your person will win. But I think you should do that. Don't believe the rhetoric. Don't believe the fake news. Research candidates on both parties and figure out who's best to represent us at every level of government. The other thing is, outside of this beautiful building and by the high school in Emerald, the traffic light will begin at the end of the week, starting to blink for 3 days. Then we'll be going to full signals. I met with Rich O'Connor, engineer, today, and Chris Slott, our police lieutenant, and he's been handling traffic for me for many years. They believe it's going to be a great thing, and I just caution them to make sure the first day they're around, so if there's a glitch, we can handle it before we back up traffic to Rahway and Scotch Plains going to school that morning. That wouldn't be too good. So they're going to be on top of it. They feel it's going to work great for the community. I think it's going to make this intersection out here a lot safer, and I look forward to seeing that functioning and working. And other than that, as Bill said and I mentioned earlier, we'll see everybody at the Unico Festival, as I used to say, but no longer do. For you, it may be a 5-pound weekend. Go out there and enjoy some good food, good time. And remember, what Unico makes at that festival, they give back to this community. So it's not like anybody's getting rich off it. It's a community service organization. And after COVID, I know everybody's waiting to get out there and grab some good food and see each other and have some good conversation that night. I look forward to it, and I'm sure I'll be there more than once, I can guarantee it. But anyway, thank you for this evening. Have a great night, and see you all next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilor Nominees.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's see which order I should go in here. First, let me congratulate or welcome Kevin Mickeldudis, hope I'm saying his name correctly, to our Clark Volunteer Fire Department. We appreciate all the volunteers that we get, and I hope everything goes well in his time of service. Thank you to all of our, especially DPW, for the fast cleanup. Tremendous effort, and it is greatly appreciated. Also, kudos to OEM, Fire Department, and police, and also to all the good Samaritans out there and neighbors who helped folks who were really rescued. I mean, we had so many rescues. I met a fellow named Jason. He brought someone over to the mayor had opened up the recreation center for those that were displaced, and we do appreciate that quick reaction. And I know he was out all night helping out as well. Scott, thank you very much for all the list of events coming up. Greatly appreciate that. And finally, I just want to say Thank you to the mayor. I know people assume the mayor has to come to these meetings. They're council meetings. The mayor's not required to be here, but we do appreciate your presence here and responsiveness to all the questions that come up with the citizens that attend.
What else would I do with a Monday night?
I don't know, I think your favorite football team might be playing one of these nights.
We'll get home early enough for the game. That's easy.
Knock on wood. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Albanese. Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Just a few brief words. Fall is upon us. It's getting darker earlier, so please keep your vehicles locked at your homes at all times. If your vehicles are open, it's a chance of somebody opening the door. Most importantly, you may have your garage door opener in your vehicle, and it's an easy access for somebody to get into your home. So please, keep your vehicles locked at all times. And ladies and gentlemen, if you see something, as I said, every month that doesn't seem quite right to you, please don't hesitate to call our police department. They will respond quickly to ensure your safety and well-being. So until next month, be safe, stay well, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Councilman O'Connor.
Thank you very much. Just for the second ward, obviously across from Manny's Diner, going to be apartments there. You can see the construction's going pretty well. Looks like they're on schedule to me. I'm not an architect, but looks like they're doing pretty well with that. They've started construction on the L'Oreal R&D facility on Terminal Avenue. I know they have the netting up all around it. That should be done, I don't know, about a year or two, Mr. Mayor?
Maybe like a year and a half or so, depending on material too. Remember, in building today, you're not getting all the material as readily as you used to, so that's always a factor right now.
Right. And while I have your attention at the microphone, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to ask, with school starting again and the traffic the way it is and people running late, I've noticed an increase in the amount of speed around school zones. So if you could increase the police presence in the school areas to keep the kids safe and also the parents safe, that would be great.
See, Angel, now you know why I come out tonight. But yes, Councilman, we do. The sad part is, and not all of it, but it's our own residents. You know, in school zones, normally it's our own residents. And speaking to people who work in school zones, some of the temperament coming out of some of our residents and vehicles isn't so appropriate when people are trying to shuffle traffic in and out of different schools. And, then when they get pulled over, it's, well, I pay taxes in Clark. Well, we all pay taxes in Clark, but doesn't mean you can go speeding down the roads, and especially in school zones. I mean, plan your day, get out 5 minutes earlier. Traffic is hot right now. I spoke to the safety director at our high school, Mike Pollock, former traffic lieutenant here at the Clark Police Department. Mike does a great job, and he is also expressing some concerns, but he's hoping within the flow of getting back to school, a couple of days, this will all start to clear up and start to work. Police are always out there. They're doing many jobs, answering the radio calls, different things, but, folks, you got to slow it down, and traffic is heavy in Clark, it's heavy in Union County, and it's heavy throughout the state of New Jersey. Unfortunately, we've tried to put a lot of Band-Aids on things, but there's no surgical way of fixing these problems. There's not much more road that we can cut into and make another lane and do things of this nature. So it's a little bit of patience, a little bit of perseverance, and a little bit of common sense, especially in school zones, to slow down.
Because I know Meadow to Tudor's a nice speedway.
Yes,
It also cut through as well.
I had a meeting with the police on Tuesday, and I brought that street up as one of them and of several others.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And that concludes my comments for this evening. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Council President Hund. Just a reminder, the fall recreation program registrations, if you're interested, please do so ASAP. And the Clark Unico chapter, Ralph is looking for volunteers to man the booths and work some of the booths and game trailers. And if you can't volunteer, at least come on out and support the Unico, as Mayor Sal said. All the money raised at the feast and other fundraisers throughout the year does get given back in forms of scholarships, mostly to seniors at the ALJ High School. So please come on out and support us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Councilman Toll.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. For the ones we've lost in the last month, Mary Acherico, a longtime resident, and she was a realtor with Century 21 Clark, a former Girl Scout leader with Troop 806. And then we lost William Mays, Jr. He was ALJ class of 1969 and a friend. Sheila Blazovich, a resident of Clark for over 50 years. She was the secretary of the Clark Board of Education for many years. James Gugalito, a resident of Clark for over 50 years. And Frankie Ligaitis, Sr. Now, you might not know the name, but if you know the face, you would recognize who Frankie was. If you ever drove down Miller Terrace at a slow, normal, regular pace, past Kump School, Frankie was the crossing guard in front of Kump for over 20 years. He was a dear friend to all of us, and he was very special to the Clark kids going to school at Kump for those last 20 years. He made sure they got in and out of the building safe, and made sure the parents got to pick them up safe and sound. Frankie's wife passed away a couple years ago, and to his son, Frankie Jr., our condolences. He was a wonderful man. If you ever met him, or just he waved to you as you drove by Kump School. Again, to our condolences to all those who have passed away. That's all I have for tonight. We'll see you at the next meeting, and we appreciate everyone doing their thing for the Township of Clark.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Madam Clerk, any comments?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I want to follow up on what the mayor said about elections. The drop boxes are open. They've been open since August 23rd. I spoke to the Board of Elections Administrator on Tuesday, and she said that Clark's ballots should be going out in the next week or so. They were still coding them, but the drop boxes are open, so when you receive them, you could put it in there. The other thing that's new this year, this election, first time ever, is early voting. We do not have a location in Clark, but the closest location for Clark residents would be at Union County College in Cranford. They are set up with electronic poll books so that any resident from any town in Union County can go to any election. That will begin on October 23rd and last for 9 days, where you can vote on a machine early if you're planning to be away on Election Day. The other topic I'd like to talk about is the townwide garage sale, which is happening this Saturday and Sunday. Last count, Elizabeth, we had over 230, almost up to 300 now, residents who were going to be participating in the townwide garage sale. You can still sign up. The advertisement has been in the newspaper, so your address would not be in the newspaper if you're signing up late, but the cutoff will be this Thursday at noon. So if you still want to join the fun, sign up you can just go to our website, ourclark.com, go to government, click on Township Clerk, and you'll see the townwide garage sale. So that should be a fun event. Thank you.
Mr. President, may I please? Edie, could you just clarify a couple of things for the citizens as far as voting goes? There will be machines and polls like we're used to, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I know that, but I'm just asking you. People who receive ballots in the mail, explain that so the people understand that they can't, if they get a ballot, they can't vote in person, correct?
Correct. So if you receive a vote by mail ballot in your mailbox, even if you don't intend to use it, you cannot vote on the machine because your name is in the registry as vote by mail voter. Everyone received an opt-out letter from the county clerk, I would say maybe 2 months ago. So they had the option.
Let me interrupt. When you say everyone received, those were the people who requested ballots 2 elections ago, correct?
Right, well, what they did, I think it was in 2018, if you voted by mail, you automatically got put into everybody votes by mail. So then you had to opt out. It was kind of a mess.
And then we had COVID last year. And
Right.
Everybody voted by mail.
Everybody had to vote by mail.
So really, that's why I'm trying to bring this up, because I know people are going to forget. So 2 elections ago, if you asked for a mail-in ballot, which back then was called an absentee ballot.
Right.
And you didn't opt out when they sent you a letter, you got to vote with that ballot. And folks, please understand one thing, and I'm going to say this, I think Edie's going to be happy, but don't go down to the polling place screaming at those poor people that work in the voting booth. They're not the people that are making these rules.
Right.
You know, I know we don't pay attention, we don't care until it's a problem that day, but if you get a ballot, vote if you choose to. I hope you do. Everyone should. Vote, because you're not going to walk down to Brewer or Comf or Henley or wherever, Valley, waving the ballot in your hand on election day, demanding that you're a taxpayer and I demand to vote. Because they're going to send you out of there and you're going to be screaming at some poor innocent person who's working at the polls. So I'm bringing this up now. Hopefully, Liz, we could do some work on this through our media site to try to get people to understand. But right now, to opt out, Edie, am I correct in saying it's too late?
There may be, I will get the information to Elizabeth. I don't remember the cutoff exactly, but it probably is too late because they are coding, meaning the county clerk is about to send them out. Okay. They said that they have in Union County 37,000 that they're sending out. So it's probably too late for this election. So vote by mail. I vote by mail. It's safe and secure. I like the drop box.
Well, you work all day election day from 5
Right, I don't have the
10 at
opportunity
night, so.
to go back to my town to vote,
Right.
but it is
Some
secure.
people, it's a great convenience. For others who like to go press the buttons, I understand that.
Right.
I'm just trying to get this out because I know it's going to be a disaster this year. When people get a ballot in the mail, they're going to rip it up, throw it away, and they're going to walk down to the polling place, say, "Hi, I'm Sal Bonacorso, I'm here to vote." And they're going to say, "Oh, no, you received the ballot."
Right, and at that point, the poll worker will hand them a provisional ballot.
Okay.
They'll still be voting on paper, but they will still have the opportunity to vote. If they throw it out, say they never got it, whatever the case may be, if they're registered as a vote-by-mail voter, they're going to be given a provisional ballot, and then on election night, they will work that out and see if you've already voted, then your provisional ballot will not count. If
And
you did
safe
not
to
vote,
say,
it will.
if you do get the ballot and you don't want to vote that way and you want to go to the machines, probably into the new year, you'll be able to go down to Board of Elections and straighten that out?
You can do it by mail. There are forms that I have in the office. You can also go to ucnj.org/clerk, and the county clerk has every form on there as well to opt out. You do need to print it out, as they need your signature to say you want to opt out of vote by mail. So.
Didn't mean to put you on the hot seat, but I want the voters to understand.
Absolutely, and
what-
everything, keep in mind also, 2 years ago, now, we missed last year, like you said, for
Yeah.
COVID, but we have all new machines that are digital. So it's not, if people haven't voted in a while, they're going to be in for quite a surprise, because the machines are different. It's like looking at your laptop.
Let me ask you a question, Edie, going back to that. This is taking longer than a meeting, so I beg your pardon, council, but do we have the video? I know we had a demonstration. Do we have the video on that machine? It's not that hard. I mean, you can figure
that
it
hard.
out.
Correct, it's
But
not
it is a gubernatorial election. It's going to be a busy election, not as busy as the presidential, but the second most busiest.
Right.
Maybe we could get together with Liz and TV 36 and put that video out on our website so people can refresh their memory.
Right, we can look for that video. If not, I'm sure I can get it from the county.
All right, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Excuse me, Mr. President, I'd like to ask Liz to come up to talk a little bit more about the garage sale to 300 families, make sure people can go on and see where the addresses are.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, you want to know where I'm going to post the addresses, right?
Yeah, where people can go to see the addresses posted.
So it'll be on social media. I'm going to send it out in our e-news blast to the town. If you're not signed up for that, that is by going to ourclark.com/notify me. You'll get those automatically. I can also put a list of the addresses alongside where the application is under the municipal clerk's tab if you want. So go to ourclark.com, government, departments, municipal clerk, and I will put the list in there as well, if you don't have social media.
Thank you very much. That's it. Thank you so much. You guys work so hard. I just want to make sure everybody gets, to see the addresses.
Mr. President, I'd also like to say, to follow up on Liz, it's going to be a great day. You asked for this. It's our second annual. But folks, we didn't have any problems last year, but make sure we don't this year. Work your yard sale in teams. Keep your garage door closed. Keep your front door locked. You don't want to get into a position where you're by yourself, somebody's keeping you occupied over there, and somebody slips into your house. So, there's all kinds of people out here. So just be careful, be alert. If there's any suspicion, anything that doesn't smell right, feel right to you, call the Clark Police at once, 911, call them. They'll have a police car down there. But don't get into a trap where you're not paying attention to your home and somebody's keeping you occupied as somebody's walking into your front door or garage door. So just try to work it in teams, keep people's eyes open, and it'll be a fun, successful day for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Albanese, did you still have a comment that you want to make?
Thank you. No, the mayor raised the point at the end where if you unfortunately don't want to vote by mail, you can get it changed and the clerk will provide those instructions as she outlined. I do know, I just saw that letter the other day from the clerk, and that date had passed when you could opt out this time. So for this time, it would be by mail if you didn't opt out already, and then in the future, you can opt out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Counselor, any comment?
No comment.
Thank you, sir. I just want to thank all the men and women who have been involved with the storm and the cleanup that we've had in town. Everyone has been mentioned multiple times throughout the councilmen and women and the mayor being thanked. So again, thank you for all your hard work during this time and for the township being so kind and generous to people who need certain things and also assistance during the storm. So with that, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Albanese. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for coming tonight. Have a nice evening.